Okay, here we are on the eve of the NFL season finally getting underway. All the waiting's nearly over, and here I am, Andy XL, back with the seventh of my 8 NFL XL podcasts, looking at each of the divisions ahead of the 2025 season and how they might pan out. I've called these State of the Division addresses, and this address is going to deal with the AFC West, which contains the Chiefs, who have been dethroned as the Super Bowl champions. So the question here is, can anybody do the same to them in this division next season? Can the Harbaugh-led Chargers build on the progress they made last season? Or can Bo Nix and the Broncos shock them both? And what about the Raiders? Will they be any sort of challenger this season? The Chiefs will be going for a 10th consecutive division title. The Broncos last won this division in 2015, which was their fifth in a row. And the Chargers last won it in 2009, and we have to go all the way back to 2002 for a then Oakland Raiders division title. So, Chiefs, long-running champions, can they be dethroned in this division? Well, let's have a look at them. In terms of free agents, Trey Smith at guard, they've given him the franchise tag. Marquise Hollywood Brown, they've re-signed as they have done with Nick Bolton at inside linebacker. Justin Reed's gone from safety to New Orleans. Sean Wharton's gone from defensive tackle to Carolina. DeAndre Hopkins has departed as a wide receiver, gone to Baltimore. Joshua Esch on the edge has gone to Philadelphia. And they've re-signed Juju Smith-Schuster at wide receiver. The Chiefs do remain the powerhouse franchise in the NFL. I mean, they've been the dominant force of, if there is a sort of franchise that's been dominant in recent times, it's the Chiefs, and they will need to address the shortcomings that were exposed in Super Bowl 56. Sorry, I lost count. Yeah, 59. Sorry, Super Bowl 59, and generally improve in order to regain their champion status. But first up, will be retaining the divisional title yet again. It has to be said, though, that the Chiefs probably overachieved by making the Super Bowl last season. Great coaching, a quality quarterback, and some slices of good fortune were their best assets last season. The Chiefs' receiver core will be better this season once Rashee Rice has served his 6-game suspension. But obviously, in the early part of the season, they seem to lack that star quality at wide receiver. They also have a question at tight end. Travis Kelce is an all-time great, but Father Time is going to diminish his powers, and a successor will need to be found at some point. But they haven't found it this off-season, so more likely regression or degradation, if you like, from Travis Kelce looks likely. But looking beyond that, it was the O-line that was the exposed Achilles heel of the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. So improving that had to be a must for the Chiefs. As I said, Trey Smith is back at guard, but further improvement at guard and tackle would be key for the Chiefs. So Jalen Moore via free agency and Josh Simmons as their first-round draft pick will help at tackle. But guard still looks to be a question mark to me. Defensive tackle was another position of need with Sean Wharton having left. They've added Jerry Tillery via free agency and Omar Norman Lott as a second-round draft pick, so that possibly covers that off. But they've not replaced Joshua Esch on the edge, so that's another area of concern. And they may also want to look at some point to improve their secondary and possibly running back too. Justin Reed needed replacing at safety, while Christian Fulton and Noel Williams cover off the cornerback need that they had. So really, I think offensive line, edge, and safety may be positions of weakness for the Chiefs next season, and I'm not convinced about the running back side either. So there's plenty of questions there, but as long as they have Andy Reid and Steve Spagnuolo as defensive coordinator, along with Pat Mahomes at quarterback, this team is going to be a contender. But they could be in more danger of losing their divisional title next term than they have for a long time. So, who are the challengers, or possible challengers? Well, the most likely challenger for me are the Los Angeles Chargers. If we look at their free agency, um, J.K. Dobbins has gone from running back to Denver. They've re-signed Khalil Mack on the edge. They haven't re-signed Asante Samuel, cornerback. Poona Ford has departed from defensive tackle to the Rams. Elijah Molden has been re-signed at safety as a Tieta at defensive tackle. Christian Fulton has gone from cornerback to Kansas City across the division. Denzel Perryman's been re-signed at inside linebacker. Morgan Fox has left from the edge to go to Atlanta, and Bradley Bozeman has been re-signed at centre, whilst Josh Palmer has departed from wide receiver to go to Buffalo. So there's a big list of free agents there. So plenty of change going on for the Chargers. Like the Chiefs, like I said, the Chargers had a lengthy list of pending free agents, but they've done all right to fill the gaps. J.K. Dobbins has been replaced by Najee Harris. Asante Samuel and Kristen Fulton have been replaced by Dante Jackson and Benjamin Juiced. And the return of Mike Williams partially covers off the Josh Palmer loss. Well, I'm not convinced about Williams at this stage of his career. So some good free agent moves. And in the draft, they have added Omari and Hampton at running back to give them one of the strongest running back duos in the league, along with Najee Harris. Another Harris Trey was added as a second round pick at wide receiver, which potentially improves them in that area too. With Poona Ford having left from defensive tackle, Jamari Caldwell was added in the draft, as was Carl Kennard at edge following Morgan Fox's departure. That really means that they look to have addressed their needs at defensive tackle, edge, and wide receiver. And the Chargers have upgraded at tight end too. And they look well set to challenge, at least challenge the Chiefs for the divisional title in my book. So after the Chargers, what about the Denver Broncos? Much shorter list free agent wise. They've called time on Javonte Williams at running back. He's now in Dallas. They've re-signed DJ Jones at defensive tackle, and they've allowed Cody Barton to depart from inside linebacker. He's now in Tennessee. Like I said, a short list of free agents. Javonte Williams had underwhelmed since a really good rookie season, and with J.K. Dobbins and R.J. Harvey coming in, that will more than fill that need. So they should be stronger at running back this season. Cody Barton's departure at inside linebacker has been covered off by the addition of Dre Greenlaw. A good addition at tight end is Evan Ingram. That looks like a good one. When we look at wide receiver, Pat Bryant could be a sneaky good pick for them there. I liked him. I really saw him as one of the draft guys that was going to be underrated and could do well. And he looks to have had a decent pre-season. So watch Pat Bryant with me, Michael. I think now another one they could keep an eye on. Excuse me, who could be set to improve in 2025 is Troy Franklin. So I think I can see some promise for them there at wide receiver too. They have a solid secondary led by the superb Patrick Surtain II, but the addition of Talanoa Hufanga and Jardine Barron in that area should also make their pass defense top 10 ranked in 2025. And that will also be helped by draft additions of Savion Jones and Q Robinson on the edge too. So all of which gives the Broncos an opportunity to build on their strong 2024 season. The only caveat I'll put on that is they're up against two really fine teams in this division. So maybe they might have to settle for a wildcard pass to the postseason. But they're going to be a good team this year. Don't make no doubt about it. Fourth team in this division, likely to finish fourth in this division again, but good signs for the Las Vegas Raiders. I like what they're doing the last couple of years. Let's have a look at their free agents that came into this season. Malcolm Kuntz on the edge was re-signed. They let Trayvon Mulrig go from safety to Carolina. Nate Hobbs has gone to Green Bay at cornerback. Inside linebacker Robert Spillane went to New England, as did Marcus Epps, another safety. And Alex Mattison, the running back, went to Miami. A net spend of $50 million of their salary cap, has brought in Geno Smith at quarterback, Raheem Mostert at running back, and Alex Capper at offensive tackle on the offensive side, plus Devin White, Landon Roberts, Jeremy Chin, Eric Stokes, Lonnie Johnson, and Lakey Fotu on the defensive side. So lots of good additions there. Certainly plenty of depth. Um, Geno Smith is coming at quarterback with Devontae Adams leaving to balance off those big contracts. So draftees Dante Thornton and Jack Betch, they've been added to replace Adams. Amari Cooper's now there as well, having recently been added. Um, but the trade request of Jacoby Myers is a big concern in terms of that wide receiver core. If he went or if he's not going to be fully engaged, that could leave them short in that area. Excuse my cough. Um, Raheem Mostert has essentially replaced Alex Mattison, but it's the draft pick of Ashton Gionte that is the real shining star here for the Raiders. They did it with Brock Bowers last year. They took the best player in a position. It was really going to be a star at that position for years to come at tight end with Brock Bowers. Now they've done it with Ashton Gionte at running back. He's going to, just watch and weep everybody else because he's going to do some damage. Chin and Johnson replaced Murray and Epps. White and Roberts more than cover the loss of Spillane, but they haven't really replaced Nate Hobbs at nickelback. Um, the thing here, though, for the Raiders, for me, is I'm not convinced Geno Smith, far from convinced, in fact, is going to do as well in Vegas as he did in Seattle. If he does not, then the Raiders face a tough task to be competitive in 2025. Um, Darian Porter adds strength to the secondary. That's another little move I've noticed there. On the O&D line, they needed improving too. Charles Grant and Caleb Rogers were drafted to help the O-line, but the D-line remains a major concern for the Raiders. So the road ahead is not paved with black and silver yet. Like I said, Geno Smith is not going to have the quality of wide receivers available to him here that he had in Seattle. And the concerns about their D line remain. So those two questions still need answering down the road for the Raiders, which means they're probably going to. I can't see them finishing anything but bottom of this division again, but it will be a season of progress. It's just they're up against three strong teams in this division. So if they can get to 7 wins, that would be a good achievement this year, and they might well be capable of doing that. So let's sum up this division then. The Chiefs face a real challenge to be as good as they were in 2024. And, are they the team? They're still the team to beat, being the reigning champions. But I really can see the Chargers and Broncos putting it up to them this season. And it's going to be a tough three-way fight in this division. And really, any one of those three, if they make the right moves, they could be more than just divisional winners. But it's really the Chiefs and Chargers I see as the best teams in this division. The Broncos just behind them, and the Raiders are going to improve again. So this is becoming a really, really strong all-round division. So that's how I see the AFC West. Just got one more to go, which is the all-powerful NFC North, and I'll come back with that one next. So after that, I'm going to do a very brief summation of a preview of how I see the picture in the whole of the NFL, and who I see as the um, contenders to make the postseason, contenders for first overall pick. Yeah, there'll be some of those. Um, who are the teams that are going to make the postseason but probably not be a threat once they get there, and who are the real contenders? And then I'm going to give you the two teams that I think will compete in the Super Bowl, and I'll give you a winner as well. All right, that will be coming up in my next couple of pods. See you soon.